right. Hello, welcome. It is Friday, May 7th. This is your asynchronous lesson for today. So first things first, make sure you do the attendance question and then go ahead and open up the Unit 5 Essay Progress Tracker and fill that out. So you should update it. Your thesis should be done. So put an X in that column if you're done. If you're not, answer those reflection questions. Go ahead and do that. Progress tracker. Keep it updated. Use this as a tool to keep yourself on track. Okay, once you have done that, our objective for today is outlining our essays. So this is your homework. If you don't get it done today, it needs to be done by next Wednesday. Because next week we are getting started on writing our body paragraphs. Like next week we are writing the essay. So make sure your outline gets done. So where you're doing that, in your synthesis essay document that I posted, where it says outline, this should be complete. So thesis you already wrote, or you should have. 2 body paragraph claims, and then evidence. We'll go through what your evidence needs to look like. You can do 3 claims if you would like, but you are required to have this filled out by Wednesday. Okay, so before we get into that, just wanted to give you a couple quick notes on thesis statements. So as I was giving feedback on thesis statements, noticed some trends in our thesis statements. So let's look at an example. So we're going to look at the student example of a thesis statement. So here's the criteria for success again. So you have this also in your thesis document. So you're going to want to go ahead and open up this document, Unit 5, Lesson 7, thesis statements. Open that up. So we have our criteria here. So you need to introduce both sides of the debate that you'll be discussing in your essay, any key terms or concepts readers need to know. So this person did that. Some people believe that technology conversations aren't the same as face-to-face conversations. Others think that technology is helpful. So we've got both sides of the debate there. We're good on that criteria. Then we need to acknowledge a counterclaim before we give our argument on this issue. So this person said, while people believe the world is better without so much technology. So that is that criteria. We've got that counterclaim. Ultimately, it's better to have it because it makes things easier in life and helps us with work because technology helps everyone on a daily basis, whether you use it for work, school, or personal reasons. So here's the issue here. The question for this prompt was, does technology isolate us, right? So Sherry Turkle's claim is that technology isolates us from one another. This person is talking about technology, but not whether it isolates us or brings us together, right? So this is not answering the prompt, right? The question is whether technology isolates us or brings us together. For prompt number 2, which is what most people are doing. For prompt number 1, the question is college worth the cost? So again, that's prompt 1. You need to make sure in your thesis statement that you are actually answering that question, right? Your question, whether is college worth the cost or does technology isolate us? Because the question is not, is technology helpful, right? Ultimately, it's better to have it because it makes things easier in life. Well, that's fine, but doesn't quite answer the question. So make sure that your thesis statements are answering the question that you're supposed to answer. I gave you some feedback on your thesis statements, so go ahead and revise. So use feedback and the criteria for success to revise your thesis if needed. If you got 100% on your thesis and there was no feedback, great. You can just copy and paste it right into your synthesis essay document. So revise your thesis. Oh, my hair looks crazy right now. Revise your thesis and then copy and paste it into your essay document here where it says thesis. So go ahead and do that step. Okay. I'm going to assume that you have done that. Now is a good time to take a quick break if you need. And then we're going to talk about body paragraphs. Okay, so body paragraph claims, right? Your assertions, the first sentence of your body paragraphs. You already should have these at least started, because in your thesis statement, you should have a roadmap, right? 2 to 3 reasons or claims that support your position, right? So at the end of my example thesis, if my argument is about uniforms and I'm saying uniforms are more harmful than beneficial, my 2 reasons are they don't allow students to express their identities in school, and the rules students have to follow don't allow them to learn how to adapt to different environments and expectations on their own. So those are my 2 reasons. Those are going to become my body paragraph claims. So as long as you have done that step in your thesis, you are already almost done with your body paragraphs. So each claim needs to support your thesis statement. Claims should be different from one another, so don't just make it the same idea twice in different words. Make sure they're distinct reasons. Also, at least one claim should respond to a specific counterclaim. So just like you did in your thesis, you should respond to a counterclaim in your at least one body paragraph claim as well. And then claims are organized logically. So this is going to be different for everybody, what this looks like to you. So let me show you an example of how you might organize your claims. And last thing, claims are not just the same claims as individual sources, right? So like your paragraphs should have a mix of evidence from different sources. You should not just be summarizing individual sources in your paragraph. So like I can't just have the same claims as Sherry Turkle, because that means I'm just summarizing what Sherry Turkle thinks, right? So instead, you want to support your own ideas that you're getting based on these sources that you're reading, but they are your own ideas. You're not just summarizing each source. Okay, so here's an example. It's a little hard to see, so we're gonna... Okay, so here's my thesis again. And again, I have those 2 reasons to support my position against uniforms. So this first claim is where I am addressing a counterclaim. So the claim says, to begin, even though uniforms are intended to teach students the norms of professional dress, they don't allow students to learn on their own what is appropriate for different situations. So where it says, even though uniforms are intended to teach students the norms of professional dress, that is a positive about uniforms, or that's like what they're intended to do. And I'm still saying, here's why that's wrong, right? So right off the bat, I decided that it would be good to address a counterclaim right away at the beginning of my essay, so that my reader who might disagree with me and be pro-uniform, so my reader will be kind of disarmed out of that position right away, right? So immediately in my first body paragraph, I'm saying, I know what you're going to say, right? I get it. I get that uniforms are intended to do this. Here's why that's wrong. So right away, I'm addressing a counterclaim. And then evidence. So the evidence, you'll notice, is not full quotations, right? It's not quotes from the sources. It is the source. I'm naming the source, right? So I have this K-12 Learning Liftoff article on social intelligence. That is the source that I have. And then a quick explanation of like the idea from the source that I'm going to use to support this claim. So it says students need to learn expectations of different settings based on observation. That is not an exact quote from the source. That is just a quick explanation, a kind of paraphrase of an important idea in that source. Same thing over here, right? So the other thing about your evidence is you want to have 2 different sources. Ideally, you'll have 2 different sources supporting your claim in each paragraph. So another source over here, York College study on professionalism in the workplace. Employers feel new grads don't know how to dress professionally. So I have these 2 different sources, just a quick explanation, a paraphrase, summary of the important ideas that I'm going to use in those sources to support my claim. And this example outline is also available in the synthesis essay resources that are posted today. So you don't have to memorize this right now. It's in the slides. And finally, how did I decide to organize my claims? So this second claim says, more importantly, however, uniforms don't allow students to feel free and comfortable expressing their cultures in school, which inhibits learning. So I decided to put this claim second because I think it's more important. So I'm ending my essay with the idea that I think is more important. I'm leaving my reader with this sort of bigger idea that I really want them to take away from this essay. So it's up to you how you organize your claims. This is one example of a way to do it. Start by addressing a counterclaim and then build into your bigger, more important reason. You don't have to do it that way. That is just how I chose to do it in this example. It is one way to do it. Okay, so last couple of steps here. So in your synthesis essay document, you have a place to put your additional online sources. So in Unit 5, Lesson 6, that was your exit ticket, was to find 2 more sources that you could use in your essay. So if you got feedback on those sources that they were not credible enough, or they didn't really make sense to use with your essay, then find different sources. But as long as you have those 2 online sources, go ahead and link them in here. Do that right now so that you have them just easily accessible as you write the essay, right? This is the document you're going to write your whole essay in. So you want to just have these links to these sources available right here in this document. So go ahead and do that. And then finally, get to work. So just a reminder, these are the things you should have done so far. So you should have read sources A and B that I provided to you. You should have found those 2 additional online sources on your topic that you can use in your essay. And you should have written your thesis statement. So if you have not completed any of these steps, you got to go back and complete those steps first before you can outline your essay. This is why I've been telling you to please keep up with these steps because it's just gonna snowball from here, right? It's gonna be harder to catch up the more we let it build up. So let's get caught up if we need to. Otherwise, you are just completing your outline here. So you're writing your body paragraph claims, identifying your evidence, and that's it. So these synthesis essay resources are linked in this document as well. So you can see that example outline as you are writing. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. And I think that is it. Have a great day, and I will see you next week.